Hey YouTube, Greg Foot here, Little Buster's Oysters. Hope you're doing well. One of the questions I get asked all the time when I do tours is how big do oysters get? I dragged up a piece of gear today. It's mid-February, slow on the farm, and I had some time, so I dragged up some gear that had gotten sunk, been sitting on the bottom for a while. I had assumed that all the oysters in this gear would be dead. The oysters in this area, if you let them sit on the bottom for too long, they get dug into the mud and they die off. But in this case, I was lucky. I had 2 bags that were full of live oysters. So the oysters that I pulled up off the bottom, that were sitting on the bottom, they'll get left up on the surface, get cleaned out, be ready for harvest probably late next summer. But I wanted to show you some big oysters that I pulled up from this bag. They're dirty, so bear with me. But this is kind of a big oyster. So you see hand, I'm 6'1", so I'm pretty tall, but pretty big hands. And you can see how big that oyster is right there in my hand. That's a big boy. And I've got a whole bunch of these. When they sit on the bottom, they start growing longer, like this, versus if they're on the surface, they get that cupped shape. They get a deep cup to them. And they get a little bit more squat like that, which is what the market is looking for, what a restaurant wants. And you can see on the shell of this oyster right here, this growth ring, just like a tree. You can see these growth rings. Right about here is when this oyster went on the bottom. So last fall, this bag of oysters probably sunk to the bottom, and that's when I lost it in a storm in October of 2019. So all of 2020, it was sitting on the bottom. So what happened was it was probably on the bottom for this whole amount of time and wasn't knocking into all the other oysters in the bags. And there's a feather edge of shell. That's that new growth. And as an oyster farmer, what we're trying to do is influence these oysters to go from a shell shape that's flat and long, like I showed you here, to something that's more narrow. I'm sorry, not as long. It's wider, and it's got a nice deep cup to it. You can see here against my green jacket. It's got that nice deep cup to it. So it's incredible. These animals respond so much just to small things in the environment. Sitting on the bottom, you get a flat, long oyster like that, and you can see this oyster up until here was looking really nice. And then it sat on the bottom, that growth ring, and it just started to grow long on me. And then an oyster has been on the surface. It's a little dirty, but it's been on the surface, and it's got great shape, great shell shape here. This is an oyster that'll be going to market next summer, and it's going to look really great. Anyway, thanks for watching. I love all the views I see people on the YouTube watching the channel, watching the videos. Makes it super gratifying to do it. So keep watching, keep subscribing, like them if you think they're good. If there's a question you have about the oyster farm, I really miss giving tours. So ask a question. I'll love to take you along, make a video about it. All right. From the farm, take care.